13%. No, it turned out to be 12 and a half. But you had fun Monday.
Oh, I did. Yeah.
How you doing?
I'm good. Good. Moving a little slow on Tuesday, but recovered by Thursday.
Oh. You have a designated driver on Monday?
For sure. If we could stand for the start of the meeting with the Pledge of Allegiance. Our treasurer has joined us today. Mr. Ma, would you be willing to lead us in this pledge?
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Good morning and welcome to the April 9th, 2015 meeting of the Board of County Commissioners for Shawnee County. My name is Kevin Cook. I serve as the chair of the County Commission, also representing District 2. Joining me today is Commissioner Shelley Bueller, representing District 1. Good morning. And Commissioner Bob Archer, representing District 3.
Good morning. Good morning.
Madam Clerk, if we could have our first item.
First item is item 3, consent agenda.
Are there any questions or comments regarding the consent agenda?
Move approval.
There's been a motion by Commissioner Bueller to approve the consent agenda.
Second.
And it's been seconded by Commissioner Archer. All in favor say aye. Opposed? Passes 3-0. Our next item.
Item 4, new business. A, County Clerk. Number 1, consider all voucher payments.
Vouchers are totaling $601,349.37. We have 26 total pages, but 5 pages of the vouchers are for district court jurors, which make up about $8,117.51. The remainder, health insurance administration, state grant, and parks and recreation, and holding accounts make up the top 4. So with that, move approval.
There's been a motion for approval by Commissioner
Second.
Bueller, seconded by Commissioner Archer. All in favor say aye. Opposed? Passes 3-0. Next item.
Item A2, consider correction orders.
I'll make a motion for approval of the correction orders.
Second.
Seconded by Commissioner Archer. All in favor say aye. Opposed? And passes 3-0. Next item.
Item B, Sheriff's Office. Number 1, consider authorization and execution of Contract C 126-2015 with the New World Systems for software changes from the MSP product in CAD and mobile to New World's current product called .NET with no additional cost to the county.
Good morning, Commissioners. Lance Royer with the Sheriff's Office. As Clerk did say, this is a no-cost addendum to our contract. New World has switched a couple of our modules to a different platform called .NET, and they're giving us that software. And I've twisted their arm just a little bit when, in 2 or 3 years, when they come out with the .NET software for the rest of our suite of products, they'll give us the software. There will be some implementation costs in 2 or 3 years when they do that, but this contract's for your approval.
Has this been maybe talked about with IT, and have they had a chance to kind of look at this as well?
Yes, Pat O'Blender has been on board all the way, trust me.
All right. And there's been no concerns for the switch over by the IT department?
No.
All right. Is there any other discussion on this?
Motion to approve the contract.
Second.
Commissioner Archer, breaking his streak of seconding things, makes the motion for approval. Commissioner Bueller seconding. All in favor say aye. Opposed? Passes 3-0.
Thank you, Commissioners.
Item C, Public Works Solid Waste. Number 1, consider a change order number 1, final, on the Southwest Docking Road Bridge over Mission Creek project, reflecting a decrease of $1,368.
Good morning, Commissioners. Tom Black with Public Works and Solid Waste. As mentioned in the memo, we have completed this project for this bridge with King Construction doing the work. After the adjustment for final quantities, it has reflected in a decreased change order amount of $1,368. It is our recommendation that it be approved, and this project was part of the 2004 countywide half-cent sales tax. If there's any questions, I'd be happy to try to answer them.
Are there any questions regarding this item? I'll make a motion for approval of the final change order.
And second.
Motion made by Commissioner Cook, seconded by Commissioner Bueller. All in favor say aye. Opposed? Passes 3-0.
Thank you.
Next item.
Item D, corrections. Number 1, consider authorization and execution of contract C 127-2015 with Cumulus Broadcasting to recruit and post correction specialist vacancies for a 6-month period at a cost of $7,800 that will come from the 2015 SCAAP funds.
Good morning, Commissioners. Eve Kendall with Department of Corrections. Have a memorandum in front of you requesting approval for this contract. We're hoping that with that, we will be able to fill our vacancies with our officers. We have roughly we've been averaging 20, 25 all year so far, so we're hoping that this will put us over the edge and hopefully get us down to manageable numbers. The SCAP fund, is what we call it, is a formulary grant through the federal government, so this will not be coming out of our budget. I'll be happy to answer any questions.
Are there any questions regarding this,
I
Commissioner
did have
Bueller?
one. We're advertising on buses as well.
Yes.
And now this. So are we kind of tracking to see what's the most effective?
We are tracking. We've had it's hard to tell sometimes where they're, because we ask them when they come in,
Good.
and we don't know what leads them to what. But we are tracking to see what's effective and what's not. And what is not doing very well, we end up putting to the wayside and maybe later on down the road. But we are trying to track as much as we can what we can do, because we don't want to do anything that's not effective. It's not in our mindset. So.
Thank you.
Are there any other questions regarding this?
Motion to approve the contract.
Motion by Commissioner Archer for approval of the contract,
Second.
seconded by Commissioner Bueller. All in favor say aye. Opposed? Passes 3-0.
Thank you.
Very much. Next item.
Item E, emergency management. Number 1, consider authorization and execution of contract C 128-2015 with the Topeka Metropolitan Transit Authority for use of equipment, materials, and facilities belonging to the TMTA during times of emergency and/or disaster.
Good morning, Commissioners. Dave Sturman's Emergency Management. This is a no-cost item also. What this does is allows us to call for the buses and utilize the buses when we have emergencies or disasters. This was also of interest to the Corrections Department. Brian Cole and I had discussed it because they also need this, so this contract will also cover their needs. We did run this through the County Counselor's Office, and everything seems to be okay. So if you have any questions.
Are there any questions regarding this agreement?
Move approval.
I'll second. Motion by Commissioner Bueller for approval, seconded by Commissioner Cook. All in favor say aye. Opposed? It passes 3-0.
Thank you.
Next item.
Item E2, consider reappointment of Paul Evans, St. Francis Healthcare, to the Ambulance Advisory Board for a 3-year term expiring June 11th, 2018.
I'll make a motion for the reappointment of Paul Evans to the Ambulance Advisory Board.
Second.
Motion by Commissioner Cook, second by Commissioner Archer. Any other discussion? All in favor say aye. Opposed? Passes 3-0. Next item.
Item F, County Councilor number 1, report on the April 1st, 2015 judicial tax foreclosure proceeding sales results.
Good morning, Commissioners. Megan Barrett, County Counselor's Office. I'm just here to give you a brief summary and final accounting of our tax foreclosure lawsuit that we just concluded. As you know, I came to you maybe 3 to 4 weeks ago to let you know that the auction was going to be held. It was held last Wednesday. Actually, I apparently need to correct something for the record. When I came here to you 3 to 4 weeks ago, I told you that John Knight advised me not to make any jokes, and he would like me to correct for the record that what he in fact said was, don't make any jokes, because historically the people in your office, specifically the county counselor, have a history of making very bad jokes. So that's, for the record, what was said. You really got me after that meeting. So we filed this lawsuit back on August 1st of 2014. It was case number 2014 CV751. It was against 141 different pieces of property at that time. Judgment was rendered, and our tax auction was conducted last week on April 1st. Prior to the sale, we had 62 properties that were redeemed. The owners or lien holders came in, paid the taxes that were owed, and $421,770.92 was paid to the treasurer. And we also had 9 properties dismissed due to bankruptcy proceedings being filed. Last week at the April 1st auction, we had 70 properties that were slated for sale, and I'm happy to say that all 70 were sold. That's about, I think, the 4th sale in a row we've had where all the properties have sold. So the total amount collected was $450,945. Of that amount, $195,000 of that will be paid to the treasurer for the tax portion. So from this sale, the actual amount paid towards delinquent taxes is $616,907.18. Of other money we collected through the sale and court costs collected, we'll be paying $178 to court costs, to the clerk of the district court for filing the case. $24,000 of that's going to be reimbursed for our tax sale fund. That's what actually it cost us to put on the sale for title reports, renting the hall, publishing in the paper, paying an auctioneer and all those things. $233,000 of that is excess proceeds. It sold for more than what we were owed at the auction, so we can either pay that back to the original owners or lien holders in that case. And then $21,788 is going to be paid just directly into the county's general fund for indirect costs. So the total distribution in this case is $895,965. And collectively, since 2010, our tax sales have resulted in collection of over $7.2 million, with $6.2 million of that being applied directly to delinquent taxes. So we are in the process of preparing another sale. Right now we have about 165 parcels, and collectively on that, there's about $2.28 million owed. We do quite have a bit of commercial real estate at this time that we're looking at proceeding against. So I would like to thank all the people in our office. It's kind of a full all hands on deck thing when we do this. I also want to thank the Human Resource Office and Health Agency for loaning out some people to help us, and GIS and the IT department for helping us keep everything up to date online. So, any questions?
Are there any questions regarding the tax foreclosure? Thank you, Megan. I know this is a lot of work that you put into this every year and twice a year, and so.
Yeah.
Thank
Glad
you.
it's over.
Next item.
Item G, County Treasurer, number 1, update regarding the status of proposed motor vehicle annex in Rossville.
Good morning, Commissioners. Larry Moss, Shawnee County Treasurer. I think you've been aware that we've been working for over a year to place an annex at City Hall in Rossville. And I'm pleased to announce that last Monday we completed live transactions successfully from Rossville. And so with that, I think we're ready to launch the service starting this Monday, the 13th. We'll be open from 8 till noon on Monday. From there on, we'll be open on Mondays, only Monday, from 8 to 3. I know the paper said daily, but it's just a Monday service from 8 to 3. We will offer limited service initially. It'll be limited to renewals, placards, and refunds. I think it's important that we do the simple things first. We prove that we can be successful. We do them very well, and then we let the customer demand drive us to where we need to provide service elsewhere. Also planning on taking second half tax payments in May. I think we can do that there too. This is a service that we've talked about for quite some time, at least since I've been in office. And I've noted a lot of enthusiasm in Rossville for that, but enthusiasm at the coffee shop doesn't necessarily equate to customer demand. So I'm pleased that the City of Rossville has partnered with us so that we can launch this service with minimal financial risk, and we'll let our performance and the customer's demand determine where we go with the service. But it's a great opportunity to partner with the City of Rossville, and I'm very grateful. And I think it's a good example that we need to set for all government entities within Shawnee County. We're going to do something else at Rossville that's related to this. We have talked for quite some time, Betty and I have, about something called direct deposit. When we take a check in Shawnee County, we actually handle that check 4 or 5 times, manually handle that check 4 or 5 times. There's a service offered through the bank where we can scan that check at the point of sale, which means it is deposited before in the bank before the customer actually leaves the desk, and we no longer have to handle it 4 or 5 times. Potentially, we could have a savings with that. It comes with a cost. It also is new technology, and we want to be sure how that works before we launch that countywide. This is the perfect opportunity because we have a remote location. By doing direct deposit, I don't have to worry about having a courier carrying money back to Topeka because it's already going to be in the bank before I close at the end of the day. We will not be taking cash at Rossville, so it'll be credit card, debit, and checks, and all of that will be in our bank account before we close and minimize our risk of loss. So we're excited about trying that. It's the perfect location. It will test the network. We'll get to see how the process flows, and then we can make a decision of whether it makes sense to go countywide or just at certain locations. So with that, I'll be glad to answer any questions you might have.
Commissioner Archer.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. And, yeah, the only question I had, Larry, was about the cash handling, and that doesn't seem to be an issue. I know you've worked hard on this for the past year, and I just wanted to say job well done. I'm glad it's being implemented. I think it is a genuine partnership with the city of Rossville, and I'd like to compliment you and staff, and I'm excited about the project you're working with Betty on that. Yeah, handling cash and checks is so yesterday.
Absolutely. Thank you.
Again, job well done. Appreciate it. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Thank you. Commissioner Mueller, anything?
I don't think the voters in Rossville were going to let you forget about that discussion about possibly bringing this service. And this is for all Shawnee County. If you don't want to come to the courthouse, you could go to Rossville, correct?
Yes, and I should note that Rossville is the only other location in Shawnee County where you can get a VIN inspection.
Exactly. At the police
Most people
department.
think you can only go to the Highway Patrol office at Gage and I-70. In fact, you can go to Rossville now. I have to start offering title work to make that work. If we're comfortable that the renewals and these simple transactions work, then we can grow into title work and I think partner with the city marshal there in Rossville. So has potential.
Right.
We'll let customer demand and our performance determine how far we go with this.
Right, Larry, and this is in City Hall, so you walk back through City Hall. I think it's close to the place where Randy Luby used to have his offices, right?
Actually,
there in the City Hall.
it is the same room
That's what I thought, yeah, right.
that Randy used to use. He's a pretty good-sized guy. I don't know how he ever fit in that room.
I
It's a
know.
pretty small room. But he did. He's probably grown since then. I might make a note, Rossville is actually going to begin a renovation of their main street in the near future, and it's going to go until August.
Exactly.
So I'll mention that. That does put a little kink in it because now we're setting up on Main Street, and it will cause some traffic, but as it turns out, they have the parking lot that they're going to be utilizing, and they'll actually be coming in the door right there where we're going to be working. So I don't think that'll be a problem or deter us in any fashion. But again, kudos to Rossville
Yeah.
for that progress.
Yeah, it's pretty exciting. I think they're gonna do it in phases, so it shouldn't impact, services that much. But my appreciation to Mayor Ken Wickman and the City Council of Rossville and their willingness to work on this, so it is, thank you.
Thank you.
So Larry, but just let make sure that I'm clear. If the demand is there, and if the customers are using it, would it be out of line to think that maybe in the future we might be able to make our tax payments there or conduct other treasurer's business at
Well,
that annex?
Yeah, I did say we are going to take tax payments there, starting with the second half this May. So, no, I'm already prepared to take the tax payments. The clerk that I have is trained on that, so she will take a tax payment. If I happen to have to staff that day with a clerk that isn't trained to take tax payments, then they can drop it, and then we'll get them back to Topeka and process it. We do that at our current annex.
Okay.
So I'm excited about it, and we'll see where we are a year from now. We can grow it, or it's a use it or lose it proposition, and they can drive me where we need to go. It's based on customer demand.
Kudos to you.
Good.
Good luck.
Thank you.
Next item.
Item 5, administrative communications.
Are there any administrative communications this morning?
I'm going to hold on to the podium because John Knight hasn't told his joke yet. So, I want to announce that the second half statements went out this week, and remind everyone that second half payments are due May the 10th.
Thank you. Other Administrative communications.
Can you tell a joke while I get my program set up? Thank you, Commissioners. Alice Weingartner, Health Agency, and while that's warming up, I do have a couple of other things to share. The first one being today at the Health Agency during our monthly supervisor manager meeting, we are having a presentation by Lieutenant Colonel Dave Young, and he is the director of the Integrated Initiatives Office with the Department of the Kansas Adjutant General. We have invited department heads to come, we've invited community partners to come, and the purpose of his presentation is to talk about routine versus novel events, and so how we can be better prepared and consider the types of things that need to be taken into account in determining your responses between those different types of events. There'll be some discussion about risk management strategies, and then there'll also be some recommendations for professional development for staff as well. So that is at 1 o'clock today in the auditorium at the main health agency. The password, the common password? Thank you. It takes a village.
That's right.
Call Betty.
Thank you.
The other thing I wanted to provide a quick update on was the safety net system work that's been going on. We have had about 3 months worth of meetings so far with various partners. We've spent time sharing and reviewing policies, sharing and reviewing charge masters. Those are the pricing lists that we have, the types of services that are provided. I did have conversations with 2 different offices within the federal government, one of them being the Program Management Office, and the second one being the Grants Management Office. And guess what happened? 2 different directions. And so we're now trying to figure out what direction is the county going to have to go in order to essentially transfer funding to a new operation. So I'm hoping by the end of this week, we will have that information, and I will be able to provide an update in the very near future with regards to that as well. The other things that we've done, I know that Grace Med does continue to work on a pro forma. There's some information that they're still needing in order to finalize that process, and then that will be provided as well. I do want to take the opportunity to thank a couple of people. We've had a lot of participation with John Thummel and Jessica from Human Resources, Mark Price and Pat Oblender with IT, and then of course Betty Greiner with Audit Finance. They have participated in each of the subcommittees and continue to do that. We each get requested to gather data, whether it's information about taxes, whether it's information about numbers of phones we use, numbers of computers we use. That information continues to be collected so we can, again, put forth a really strong plan for how a transition can occur. So I will continue to provide updates as we have that information available. The presentation that I'm going to give you right now is just kind of an update regarding our outreach and enrollment activities that have taken place within the health agency. I can't see. Over the last 2 years. I do have Paige Ashley here with me. She is our outreach and enrollment coordinator, and she's been the one who's been spearheading these efforts for us. This particular diagram, it reflects what the uninsured and insured rate looks like in Shawnee County. As you've heard over the years, we have about a 13% uninsured rate within our community, which is about 22,000 people. And so
This again is prior to 2013, and it's still about the same right now based on the most current data. While Kansas did not elect to expand Medicaid opportunities to folks yet, we haven't seen a big shift in our uninsured population, but we may start to see something different in the coming years. Part of our role in the outreach and enrollment efforts was really to inform and educate folks in Shawnee County about the health insurance marketplace and how they could benefit from it. And so during the first 2 years, we had outreach and enrollment staff who assisted over 4,405 individuals. This right here reflects year 1 and year 2 of when people were assisted. And you see the spikes in some of those areas. Those really get to be those right before the enrollment deadlines are happening, and then maybe it got changed. But those are what those spikes are in the enrollment numbers. There's also a difference between assistance, applications submitted, and enrolled. And so while we assisted, that means somebody may have just had a question. And so we answered that question for them, and then they could go on and do the work themselves. We don't have that data of how many people continued on. People who submitted an application, that's really just opening up an application in the marketplace. It's not an application for the insurance. It's an application to enter the marketplace and start looking at health insurance plans that are available. And with that, just the staff at the health agency assisted 1,178 individuals. We did work very closely with a number of community partners. We held such events as Enroll-A-Palooza. The library was an excellent partner in opening up space for us to come in and have staff be there and be present, sometimes for 8, 9, 10 hours a day. We also worked with Shawnee County Health Access, the hospital, both community mental health centers, Jayhawk Area Agency on Aging, Positive Connections, the Kansas Insurance Department, Department of Corrections, and Mirrors, Inc. So again, it took a number of individuals to do this work. This number reflects the number of people that we touched who actually enrolled in a health insurance plan. You can see that that number is 1,101. Again, those are the people that we tracked. So when you kind of look back and say, well, if we touched 4,405 and we only have 1,101 who enrolled, it could be that some of those folks went on and did the process themselves. We also know that there were people in the community who we never even had any communication with who enrolled in an insurance plan through the health insurance marketplace. One of the things we continue to do, because as this process was going on, we were identifying people who may be eligible for other insurance options, whether it was the state Medicaid program. Some who weren't eligible for insurance at all, we could refer to the Health Access Program. There were families who didn't realize that maybe their children could have insurance, and so we were able to help direct them in that way as well. This particular table reflects just within the community health center what our uninsured and insured rate has looked like over the last few years. And we saw a pretty significant flip from 2013 to 2014 in our uninsured and insured rate. So in 2013, and this is based on our uniform data set information that we report to the feds, we had 47% uninsured and 14% insured. In 2014, we saw that number of uninsured decrease to 34% and our insured go up to 29%, which is a good thing. Mm-hmm. So we really need to see at least another year or two worth of data to know, is it the health insurance marketplace that's impacting that, or is there something else going on as well? But it is still a positive thing that that happened. These slides come from a presentation. There's a gentleman in the community, in the state, Sheldon Wisegrau, who's very knowledgeable on the health insurance marketplace. And so these are just some national data information. And you can see that we've seen a pretty significant reduction in the national level of uninsured individuals, the high at 18% in 2013, and now it's down to 12.9% nationally. We see fewer people reporting difficulties with regards to their medical cost. So again, that's a positive for folks being able to access the health insurance marketplace. And then this particular table reflects what Kansas looks like as compared to the rest of the United States. And you can see we're pretty comparable along the way with regards to who's enrolling, how many are enrolling, and the ages of our population as well. In our grant, which we received back in 2013, we received funding specifically to do this work. The Community Health Center received $195,890. Those funds have been used to pay for staff that we've used, both full-time staff and intermittent staff. We've used it to pay for promoting the activities that we have, producing materials that we provide to the consumers as well to help keep them informed. We know that there's still a long way to go, and we continue to work with our partners and work with the community and making sure that they're aware. The next marketplace enrollment period will be closing soon, so we're still getting calls, correct? So I can tell you that from the communication I've received from our community partners, our partners have greatly appreciated the staff that we have had in place, their level of knowledge and support that they've provided to our consumers. I know Paige has shared with me the thank you cards that she receives from people who are very thankful from finding out that maybe they were paying $500 for an insurance plan and now they can pay $200. So there definitely has been some pluses for folks in our community from the work that we've been doing. So I'd be glad to answer any other questions.
Alice, thank you for the presentation. I had asked for this with the Enrollment Palooza and the money that we received from the grant. It's always good to get feedback as to what do those efforts yield, and are they productive and positive, or are they not? And so thank you for the update to the work that's been done. I might ask, do we have enough data to be able to tell where the enrollees are coming from, or demographics? Are they younger, older? Are they southwest Shawnee County? Are they northeast Shawnee County? Do we have enough information to know where we're hitting the most or getting the most impact?
Yes and yes. A report was just released yesterday that I just got my hands on today. I know Paige has had an opportunity to look at it pretty quickly. Originally, we were seeing a lot of enrollment happening more in the southwest part of our community. That number seems to be sticking in the new data that's just come out. But again, it's spread all over the county. You know, we've got people from the north part of the county to the middle part of the county enrolling in health insurance plans. So it is really spread across the community pretty well. So.
That's good information to know. Any other questions? Or?
No, good, thank you.
Okay, thank you very much.
Good morning, Commissioners. Dave Stearns, Emergency Management again. Wanted to remind everybody that this Saturday from 10 o'clock to 3 o'clock is Severe Weather Awareness Day at Westridge Mall. We will have representatives there from Shawnee County Emergency Management. There will be people from the local television, meteorologist, and the National Weather Service. If you have weather radios that need tuned up, checked out, just reprogrammed, please feel free to take them out there that day. And they can do that for you. In the past several years, we've always had one of the Midland representatives was actually there and could help people. In fact, he's even replaced a few for people if they were just broken. Not that we're promising that, but Bruce Jones has been there in the past. With that, yesterday was our first thunderstorm watch. You know, we saw the weather coming in, and I was amazed at the amount of phone calls we started receiving yesterday, and my last one was at 10:45 last night, and it was somebody wanting to know where their storm shelter was located. And every year Emergency Management has put out calls and asking the public, if you have storm shelters that you're willing to open up for citizens to come in to let us know. We've yet to receive our first one that's open to the public. There are communities, there are local churches, places that allow their members, friends, families, whatever, to come in, but as far as Shawnee County Emergency Management, we do not have public shelters that open up when there are thunderstorm watches and warnings. The shelters that Shawnee County has available, like other emergency managers, are set up to open after a disaster to house people that have been displaced and had problems. But it really bothers me that, first of all, people don't have a plan, and as soon as we have a storm, they think about it the last second. And, you know, we talk to people about, you know, have your plan, have your go bag, make sure you got some sturdy shoes, but understand where you're going to go ahead of time when these things come in. And I know we've got a tremendous amount of false alarms. But the thing people have to remember is anytime you hear the word warning, those aren't a watch. Those are serious. So people really need to take those serious. But again, if anybody in the public knows of shelters that open up where citizens can go to during these watches, these storm events, please feel free to call us and let us know. Our telephone number is 785-251-4150. We do answer the phone day and night, so feel free to call us. We'll try and help you. And again, if you've got questions or want to meet any of these people, go to Westridge Mall this Saturday from 10 till 3. Thank you.
Thank you. Other administrative communications this morning? Commissioner Bueller? Commissioner Archer?
Oh, thank you, Mr. Chair. I wanted to point out, and I'm sure you were going to do this, but I'll upstage you for a change.
Yeah.
There will be no meeting Monday as we meet the Board of Canvassers. The election Tuesday, I was disappointed and discouraged with the turnout. And I believe it was less than 13%. I know the legislature is considering legislation to change the timing and the process for municipal elections, and I think the turnout in Tuesday's election was plenty of ammunition to move that legislation forward, and I personally hope that it does. Having said that, I'd like to congratulate the new members of the Topeka City Council and invite them to come over and attend our meetings, meet with the chair and other commissioners, and how we can work together for the betterment of our community. So, thank you, Mr. Chair.
I think it's significant to note that with the changes to the city charter, with the addition of the new city council members, we really have a whole new city council representing us.
We do.
5 new voting members, and so this is a shift, and so I know that the city will be getting their feet under them as moving forward, and we look forward to partnering with them as we have over the past years, and extending those partnerships where we can find positive means to do so. I might add that with the chamber, we're canceled on the 13th, so our next meeting will be on the April the 16th. Jumping back a couple months. April 16th will be the next meeting of the Board of County Commissioners. I might also add, the Shawnee County Commission has an appointment to the Washburn Board of Regents. Pam O'Toole has been our appointee for the last 4 years. Her appointment does expire at the end of May. The conditions of a Washburn University Board of Regents appointment is that they must be a person who resides within the county and not within the city limits.
Yeah, unincorporated.
Unincorporated areas of the
county, yeah.
And so, she has served, she does reside in District 2. She has served the Washburn Board of Regents very well. She's very well received, thought of very highly. And I would be, remiss if I didn't add that she is very well qualified to serve in that role. But that being said, there's a part of me that believes that it would be best for the Shawnee County Commission to open this up to anybody else that would want to have an interest in applying. This is one of the most highly prestigious positions that the Shawnee County Commission has. These are a person that's setting the tone in the future for Washburn University, and as a university graduate and an alumnus of Washburn, this is an important role for the entire community as well as the alumni. And so if the commission does not have an objection, I would like to have any applicants during the month of April to get their application into us before the April 30th meeting, or by April 30th. That is the last day of the month. It's also on a commission day. And then we would be able to review and to see if there are any other applicants that would be otherwise qualified for that position. But I would encourage Pam Truesdale to also make sure that she's also here and to be requalified or reappointed, if that's the pleasure of the commission, if there's no objection.
No objection. I believe Pam has already submitted her letter, and
Yes.
she has served in a number of leadership roles on the board. And just look at Washburn's growth and their development, and I think she's done an excellent job. So I'm going to be hard pressed to find anybody who is going to step into that role, but certainly we can open it up and have conversation, sure.
Well, but, yeah, she's done a good job, but I'm going to keep an open mind, because I think we always need to let new people apply and participate and make contributions. So I'm glad you announced that, because I don't know that it got enough publicity as far as it goes. So thank you, Mr. Chair, I appreciate it.
Thank you. And so again, if you have an interest in applying to be on the Washburn Board of Regents, we will need your application by April the 30th, and again, you must reside in the unincorporated areas of Shawnee County outside of the city limits. And so, that's the administrative communications for today. Next item.
Item 6, executive session.
There is a need for an executive session for non-elected personnel, and I would make a motion that we go into executive session for 30 minutes to start.
Second.
Motion made by Commissioner Cook, seconded by Commissioner Archer. All in favor say aye. Opposed? Passes 3-0. We are in executive session.
So Kevin emailed us to commission@snco.us.
Or back in session, having returned from executive session. No action was taken. We are adjourned.